Hello everyone, and welcome to a match of Smite Assault. This is the game I play when I'm bored with my main game. My main game, of course, being Monster Hunter World, but you know, there's not much to do in that game right now. There's no new announcements. So let's play some Smite. If you've never played this game, go pick it up. It's entirely free. It's a free-to-play game. It's a MOBA just like League of Legends, except it's more modern in my opinion. It doesn't have as many people playing it. It's still extremely active though, and they've been supporting it for years. They're still making new playable characters. This November, I believe, is it in November or is it in December? I can't remember. They're going to be having their World Championship, and I think it's in Georgia this year. And somebody out there is going to be winning like $500,000 or something like that. It's a whole bunch of money, right? So people take this game real seriously, and I'm playing the most casual game mode you can, pretty much the most casual game mode that you can play when you're playing Smite. I don't know why, I just love this game mode. It's called Assault. You don't get to pick your own character, right? It picks a character for you. It's random. And a big part of this game is a strategy game, right? I don't know if you guys knew this, but MOBAs are loosely based off of real-time strategy games, right? Which, by the way, I'm a big fan of real-time strategy. If you guys didn't know that about me, I played a ton of Halo Wars. I also played StarCraft, but I didn't upload any videos of it. But I love StarCraft 2 to be specific, right? It was my brother-in-law who introduced me to StarCraft 1. So I love real-time strategy, and I enjoy MOBAs as well. I like that they're a PvP game that you can go back to, and they just have great replayability, and that's why you see me here playing this one. So this character on the screen, the big bug, his name is Khepri. He's based off of an Egyptian god. All the characters are based on gods. And you can see my abilities in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You'll hear me talk about them in terms of numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's left to right. So 1 is my forward dash that grabs an opponent. 2 is this big orange ball that I fire forward. 3 is a root, meaning if I land it, my opponent is going to be stuck in place. And my 4 is like my special ability. It has a huge cooldown. And if I manage to land it, it has a big payoff, right? And all the characters are roughly designed around this concept. In Khepri's case, his 4 is really interesting. What it does is, if I place it on somebody who's going to die, and they actually do die, they'll just teleport back to me and still be alive. So it's a really powerful move. And Khepri was so popular in the World Championships, they had to nerf him over and over again. And lucky for me, I happen to roll him for Assault, and he's my most played character. So you're going to see us wrecking these guys because I play this character so much. It's just so easy to play Khepri. So you can see, I used my 1 there, and I grabbed Cuckoo Lane. And you can see me roughly aiming my ult, my 4, to see if I need to save somebody and make sure that whoever's in trouble gets saved. I missed my 1 there. I was trying to grab Hercules. Hercules just threw that big boulder that exploded. That was Hercules' 4, by the way, his ult, his special ability. And yeah, so one of the things I like about Assault is it's just kind of like non-stop team fighting. You're all in the same lane. Yes, there are some towers. There are some concepts that you get from the other game modes, like there is technically a fountain, but you don't get to go back to the fountain and heal. You don't get to teleport. So in Assault, sustain is really important. You've got to be able to sustain. And that's why Khepri is so good, actually, because he can deny somebody from getting a kill, maybe like an early kill or something like that. So he's a really great character for this game mode. He's a great character overall. And yeah, he's part of what class of gods? He's part of the Guardian God class, right? So there are classes of gods. There's like Hunters, Mage, Assassin, Warrior, and then Guardian. I almost exclusively play Guardians. I don't know why. I just like to. I feel like Guardians are kind of like, they're crowd control machines, right? Your job as a Guardian is to crowd control your opponents. Most of the time, that's your job as a Guardian. Obviously, with all of the playable gods in the game, there's a lot of variation. You know, you can really get some distinctive playstyles. But in general, the Guardian has a lot of defense and health, and a lot of their moves tend to do low damage, but have a lot of utility, a lot of crowd control, and that's what I love about them. I don't know why. I also like the way they look. Guardians tend to have a really distinctive, cool look. Like, I'm a giant bug here, right? Right? When I first started Smite, I thought I was going to enjoy playing Hunters, and one of my most played characters is actually Rom. I don't know, I always thought he looked cool. But in the end, I was like, nah, I just want to play Guardians all day. Okay, so you saw me get picked up there. That was the enemy Xingqian. So that was his 4. That was his ult, where he picks you up and he throws you. Ooh, and I just picked someone off with my 3. So one of the interesting things I'm doing in this match, I'm kind of introducing you guys a little bit to Smite here in this video, but if I was doing strict commentary on the game itself, you'll notice I have something really strange going on with my build. Oh, what's the name of that item? I can't think of it. That first item I take is normally used for mages only. Is it Chronos Pendant? I think it's Chronos Pendant is the name of the item. And it doesn't give you any defense, it just gives you a lot of cooldown, which is unusual. If you're taking a Guardian, normally your first item will be something related to defense because that's what your character does well. I did really bad there. I just missed that Ao Kuang. He was right next to me and I missed my 1. But yeah, when you're playing a Guardian, you'll normally play off of the things that already make your character good. And for me, that would be defense. But instead, I took a mage item. And why did I do this? It's because I'm confident in my ability to land my 3 and just be very passive, right? I was playing off of the very, very good likelihood that with everybody on the enemy team not being a mage, not having a lot of good long-range attacks, that I was going to be able to outrange them with my 3. So you can see I've put a little bit of thought into this when I started the game. I know all of these characters pretty well just because I've been playing the game for like 4 years. All of them have terrific approaches, decent approaches, but none of them have very good pokes, and my poke is better than theirs. So I'm betting on my ability to leverage the range on my 3, just stay out of the fight entirely, and repeatedly land damage on something like Hoonbots, maybe Ao Kuang, squishier characters that can't really sustain that well in assault mode, right? They can't just go back and heal it up. So they are either forced to take health regen, or they're forced to try and outplay my 3, which they probably won't because I'm pretty decent at landing it. You can see I just landed my 3 on Xingqian. It wouldn't have mattered. He was in the middle of his, I can't remember the name of the move. Something about an axe, right? He was in the middle of his move. He wasn't going to get away either way. But yeah, so now because I have this mage item, I get even better cooldown, and I do extra damage rather than having extra defense. And again, it's all based on this idea in my head that I will be able to play Khepri more like a mage versus this particular team. If it was a different team, maybe I would have chosen to go defense. It's all strategy. It's like what I was saying earlier. MOBAs are based loosely on real-time strategy. You can think of the items you buy, and by the way, if you're not sure where it shows my items, the items are shown on the left side of the screen. You can see the Chronos Pendant has a 10-second cooldown timer. You can see it constantly counting down. And then in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, those are my active items. Okay, so yeah, the game, again, loosely based off of a real-time strategy. And so you do think strategically about what items you're going to buy, and that would translate roughly to like what units you would buy in a real-time strategy game, because the items I buy to build my character is what makes me capable of outplaying my opponent. Let's see if I save this person. I can't even remember. Oh, she gets away. Artio, that's Artio. She's almost dead. She's right next to me. Let's see if she lives. She is alive. Oh, she's gone. And you can see I'm struggling. I've ran out of mana. There we go. So my active item came back. It's called Meditation Cloak. And I used it. It gave me a little bit of health back. Most importantly, though, it gave me back my mana. And then I was able to use my 1 to kind of get out of the way. That's the person in front of me. That is Amaterasu. She's really good in Assault because she has a really, really good sustain. Same with Hercules on the enemy team. Hercules is a top tier pick for this game mode. So there's a lot of good characters here. In fact, some bad picks would probably be like Bakazor. He's on my team. He is the little guy who walks around on blades. Let's see, there he is. He's right next to me on my right. Oh, there he's in front of me now. Well, his whole deal, he eats minions, the little soldiers you see running around on the field. And this is just a terrible game mode for him because there's only one line of minions that come out, so he has like nothing to eat virtually the whole time. He's competing to try and get to those minions and eat them so that he can use them on his ultimate. And there just isn't that much utility for him in this game mode. There's no like special walls for him to jump over and surprise people. Assassins generally don't do as well in assault mode, though there are exceptions, like for example See, who am I talking to, really? I'm talking to, like, people who already know this game, kind of. So some of you guys, if you're listening to me, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But Thanatos is a terrific assassin in Assault mode because he's so good at finishing off tanky characters who are trying to retreat and recover using good sustain, right? So Thanatos would still be kind of a top pick, even though he's an assassin. Alright, so we've destroyed 2 of the towers. In this game, if you destroy an enemy tower, you're going to get a chunk of gold. You're going to get money. And when you go back to your base, you're going to be able to spend that to buy better items. So there is kind of a competition going on. Look on the map. You can see on the mini-map on the right side of the screen that we have 2 towers up and our Phoenix. The Phoenix is a tower that, if you leave it alone, it eventually comes back, even if you've destroyed it. But the other 2 towers, the ones that have icons that look like pawns from a chessboard, once those are destroyed, they're permanently gone. And that means your opponent can't retreat to them. And just like in other MOBA games, what happens is if your opponent walks into the ring of the tower will shoot at them. And when they blow up the tower, it gives the enemy team a chunk of money. So we've taken 2 of their towers, and they haven't taken 2 of ours, which means we're ahead of them. You can see on the top of the screen, you can see money right next to the kill-death ratio. Kill-death ratio's in the middle, and then the kills for each team are on the left and the right of the kill-death ratio for me, so 15 and 5. And then just further out is the gold for each team, and you can see that we have a lead on the gold. That gives us an advantage. When we go to build our characters, we might be able to finish another item, and when you finish another item before your opponent, you know, you're going to be dealing more damage or have some utility or have more defense. So it's kind of this game where you're trying to get a lead on your opponent and try to snowball, basically. You're trying to get a big enough lead that they can never catch up. And their job, your opponent's job, is to kind of catch up on you, right? Like, they know you have an advantage, so they have to be a little more defensive, forcing you to be a little more aggressive, and their hope is to catch up, kind of. So like another part of the game, you'll notice on the upper corners of this screen, you can see the icon for each of the characters that are playing, and they have a number underneath it. That's your level, right? As you level up, your character becomes more powerful. Pretty basic. Ooh, look at that shot. I landed my 2 on everyone. Anyways, it maxes out at 20. See what I'm saying? So what I'm basically going for here, what I'm going to explain to you is, if your opponent has a lead on you, like he's a leveling up and you're behind, you can see that. That was my ult, by the way. If you're falling behind, your goal is to play defense until everyone reaches 20 and maxes out, because your opponent will no longer have a lead on you, a level lead, right? So if you're level 10 and they're level, let's say 13, because they killed you a bunch of times, well, they have the advantage. So your job is to kind of close the gap, and the gap always closes at 20. If everyone reaches 20, it doesn't really matter what the kills on each team was. Maybe we killed them 30 times, maybe they killed us 50 times, but if everyone's at level 20, it's an even match. Everyone has about the same skill, right? So it's a game mode where you're trying to get an advantage on your opponent, you're trying to get a lead on them, and if you manage to get the lead, you got to be even more aggressive, and they need to be more defensive to try and end that lead. Alright, so I just came out of the Phantom. Basically, similar to like a capture the flag game, once you die, you have a countdown timer before you can play again. I'm running back to the fight to go help my team. You see me using my 1 to try and get there faster. They're not doing too bad. When you're playing Assault, especially like me, I exclusively play Assault by myself. I do not play with teammates. So I get crappy teammates all the time, like really bad teammates. And I don't know, that's part of the fun though, because you get crappy teammates on your team, you get crappy teammates on the enemy team, and if you're a really skilled player, you can like really stomp sometimes, or it could go the other way. You could really get stomped by a full stacked team. Okay, there we go, they quit out. So they knew it was in the cards. All they had left with Ao Kwang, they knew that they were really struggling with us, and they quit the game. They surrendered. You can do that after 10 minutes. Next, I'm going to show you guys the stats so that you can see, you know, how well each player did. All right, and in the stats, you can see that I did a surprising amount of damage, and I'm going to say that's because of the Chronos Pendant that I took, the mage item. So as a Guardian, I actually did more damage than most of the other players, except for Amuzenkab. Amuzenkab's kind of a top pick for for that game mode for Assault because he has really good natural sustain. And then for the damage mitigated, you can see I really didn't mitigate very much at all. But don't worry, we had Amaterasu. When it talks about damage mitigation, it's talking about who tanked for your team. So Amaterasu did a terrific job tanking for the team. Artio did a lesser of a job. She did all right as well. But I knew we had enough damage mitigation. That's why I went with the mage build, etc., etc. But yeah, this is Smite. Tell me what you think of it, because I've been playing this game for like 4 years. I am decently skilled at it. I'm not pro, but especially Assault, I could probably teach you guys a thing or two about playing Assault, because I mostly play Assault. You can look me up on Smite Guru. It's like my favorite game mode. Anyways, every now and then, I'll probably post a video like this. Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if you're interested in learning more about the game. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.